What up, guys? Welcome back to the Sumn on Sports podcast featuring Perm. I'm your host. My name is Summ. I have with me my co-host today, Perm. Say what's up to the people, Perm. Clearly, I can't talk. You see me fumbling the words already. And I can't even edit. Right, and I can't even edit it out. That's in the intro.
Hey, we messed up, y'all. The Caitlin Clark segment, no audio. No audio. We got the video, we got no audio. We still have a lot of great content for you. So disregard all the stuff that you might hear during the intro about Caitlin Clark. Also, as you can tell, my voice is not working at all in that segment. But again, like I said, the rest of the show's great. Great content. Stick around and hopefully we entertain y'all for a few.
Oh shit. I still can't believe they jumped this nigga Drake.
What?
Metro Boomin is going hard on this nigga on fucking TikTok and Instagram and shit right now. It looks like Metro Boomin made a beat. I don't know if it's from Metro Boomin,
Yeah,
but BBL Drizzy.
yeah, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, how you make a song called BBL Drizzy?
I can't with
Yo,
these motherfuckers anymore, dude.
right? These niggas ain't got nothing but time because they
Nothing.
rich. Yo, So I think that's what I think Drake banked on Kendrick not having time or Kendrick not being a fast writer. But Kendrick's like,
Yeah,
nigga, I'm a good writer. So I have songs over here, nigga. I just don't put these songs out. I only put
right,
out art. He's like, but I
right,
got time, nigga. I'm rich. Did you forget I'm sitting on $50 million? I ain't gotta go to work tomorrow, nigga. I gotta write a rap though, nigga. So he
right. I mean, that's his job. That's a nigga's gig.
Kendrick is going to work every day. That motherfucker ain't taking, everybody was like 3 weeks. Oh, I can't believe he's not gonna be able to handle this battle. He's not gonna be able
Yeah,
to shit. Kenny said, I got something else for you. Um, Currently the Magic are beating the Cavaliers 47
they're
to
beating the dog shit out of him.
yeah, they're beating the dog shit out of them. So
Yeah, I
that's
got it over here. Yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
ask you if you saw it.
Yeah, I just seen it now when I pulled up the playoffs. So I guess that'll take us into our next topic. Um, so it looks like in the first game of the second round, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets met up for an epic battle, which ended in Ant Edwards going off for 43. Perm,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts
yeah.
on game one and how Minnesota is going to do moving forward and what Denver needs to do to slow them down moving forward?
Uh, the big thing, I think Joker had a bad night. You look at the box score, it doesn't look terrible until you look at that 3-point shooting percentage. Anybody watching that game, you could see the shot was just off. Charles Barkley has a saying that I heard a long, long time ago about how to know when you're going to have a good night or you're going to have a bad night. And he said, when you're taking those warm up shots and those first couple shots come off your fingertips and they hit that iron, if you miss them, right, not a big deal. But if they hit back iron or front iron, you're okay. You can calibrate that, right? But if those suckers are off to the left or the right, you're probably in for a bad shooting night. And last night, Joker's, man, they were clanging off the side of the rim. There was one late in the game where he threw it up and that sound when the ball hits the backboard and the rim almost at the same time, right? And then
Right.
it bounces off to the side like that horribly ugly sound that just says, I did not shoot this ball well at all. Man, he threw one of those up late. And I at that point, I knew that the game was over. As far as Minnesota's concerned, Anthony Edwards is on another level right now. Somebody put a battery in that dude's back and he's going crazy. As a matter of fact, I know who put the battery in his back. It was Steve Kerr. Anthony Edwards, in an interview, I think I saw this on TikTok. He was asked about his work ethic, right? And he's like, well, I thought that I worked hard until I think he was doing something for USA Basketball. And Steve Kerr kept telling him to stop the drill. Or maybe it was pre-draft stuff. Anyway, Kerr's telling him stop the drill. this is all you got. This is you. This is all your effort. And he's like, what am I doing, man? I'm fucking working my ass off. And he would stop the drill again, and then they would get started, and he'd stop the drill, and he'd say, you need to see Stephen Clay. And then so like he saw Stephen Clay, and he goes, work out, and they're busting their ass super hard, and that's when he knew that he wasn't working hard enough, and he knew from that moment forward that he was never going to get outworked, and he just started grinding in a way like he basically called himself a maniac, I think is how he described himself. But that dude right now can do whatever he wants to on the basketball court. He is willing that team to victory. I don't at this point when I watch players like him, I don't care too much about the quote unquote efficiency when I see you take the game over in the fourth quarter. And that's what he did last night. He
Well,
dominated that game.
well, I think when it goes to the efficiency point, I think like sometimes your average fan or just somebody who's watching and they're just crunching numbers and doing analytics. We have to think about this. If somebody's playing both ends of the court, they're not going to be the most efficient offensive player because they're giving more energy on defense too. So it's fucking I shouldn't have to say fatigue is a real thing, but fatigue's a
Yeah.
real thing, and if you just like to your point, what makes him so dope is that he's still going to play both ends. He may be inefficient sometimes here in the first or second quarter, but in the fourth quarter he gets hella efficient and he's still a lockdown defender. And he's only
Mhm.
what 20, 23. So it's not like he's like, oh, he's only 23
Yeah.
people. So
He made a play last night, to your point, last night on the defensive end that sparked a big cat dunk on the other end. This big block on I can't even think of what's the power Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, he just beat his shit up midair, dog. He tossed his stuff. It was crazy. Led to a big dunk on the other end, huge momentum shift. And so those are the types of things that we're talking about, right? Like,
right.
and it's not like, yeah, okay, so you might miss a mid-range jumper, and for the analytics heads, they're like, wow, that's a wasted fucking possession, right? But on the other end, you come down and you will the stop, right? You force a turnover or whatever. Um, those are the sorts of things that I think that's playoff basketball. Those are the sorts of things that I think are going to separate Anthony Edwards in the long term from a lot of his peers.
So, I mean, if you guys remember it correctly, in the first episode of the podcast, I called Minnesota to come out of this round with a victory over, Denver. So
You
for me,
did.
I feel good about this one. I didn't know if they were going to get game one. I thought they were going to get game two. I thought this was going to go seven. Um,
It still could.
yeah, it still could. It still could because they can
Still
win in
could. I mean, it's
Minnesota.
one game. It's one game,
Um,
and you're talking about the champs. They just got off easy with a nice little cake win against the Lakers, and
They
Minnesota
weren't
was
ready for
feeling
goal. Yeah,
themselves. They're riding high.
Minnesota ain't no joke. Minnesota is ready to go.
No,
Like
no.
you can see Anthony Edwards is ready to go. I think
Hmm.
where this series where it's going to be a problem necessary well for Denver, and this is what I was thinking, as I picked Minnesota. Um, who does Minnesota have that can guard Anthony Edwards? Absolutely nobody. And I understand that Jokic
I
is,
mean, Denver.
what's that? Yeah, Denver
Who
has
does,
nobody
who
who
does Denver have?
yeah, yeah. They have nobody who can guard Ant.
Yeah.
Caldwell Pope is not guarding Ant. I don't care what y'all try to tell me. So when you look at Denver, they don't, yeah, Jokic may be the best player in the league or arguably the best player in the league or whatever it is that you want to look at. But they still have Gobert and Towns that they can at least run at him to make it difficult. And I
Yeah.
don't feel like Gobert played the best defensive game last night, like to your point. I feel like Jokic missed a lot of those shots just because he was off. So now think about a game where Gobert is going to at least have one or two games where I don't want to say locks down Jokic, but Jokic might only score 24, 25. It's going to happen because, it's just going to happen. Watch, you know. So how is Denver going to react in those games? Because in those games, I still see Ant going for 30, 34. I don't think he's going to go for 43 every game. He might go for 43 another game in this series. But I
But
see
no, he
him.
might go for 43 next game.
You think so?
He
I don't know if he's
could.
going to get
He,
43 next game, man.
he's balling, man.
I think that Denver is going to focus their attention on him, which can let Ant get off, and it can let the rest of the players get off. You see Nas Reed's coming in off the bench; he's playing well.
He played
McDaniels
really
played
well last
well.
night.
McDaniels played pretty well last night. Conley played good defense on Murray last night. So if you can get all those pieces to come together and be consistent, I think that Ant won't have to score 43 every game, but you will need a little bit more out of Cat. And Gobert can't only have 6 points. Gobert is going to have to get you 12.
Right.
He's got to get you at least a dozen, you know?
Yeah.
But I can see Denver winning this. I can see or Minnesota winning this series in 5, 6 games, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Off the strength of one game,
Yeah.
they're just gonna
I,
put the champs away.
well, I mean, I
Just
picked
gonna put them
Minnesota,
away.
so I picked Minnesota. I got to run with them, and
You
you know,
picked them at
and
5?
I mean,
The
probably 6,
disrespect.
probably more like 6.
Yeah. I mean, 6, 7. I could see Minnesota winning this. I want Minnesota to win. I like Minnesota. I like Anthony Edwards. That dude's
Yeah,
great,
me
and I
too,
want
me
him to
too,
win. I want him to win many
me
championships.
too, me too.
Um, but yeah, like
Oh, Georgia boy.
I'm not ready to throw the dirt on Denver yet. It was one game. Minnesota's riding high off that series, man. They are riding so high off that series.
I don't even think that they're riding high. I think that Denver was disappointed that they lost the game to LA. I think that they really thought that they could sweep those niggas again because they just swept them. They swept them in the
Yeah, they
season.
almost did.
The Lakers ain't beat them niggas in a while. Like Denver
Yeah.
won like 11 straight games, 12 straight games against them. So I
Mhm.
don't think that Denver was flying high off of that series win. I think Minnesota was flying more high off of their series win than Denver was. But I think Anthony
That's what
Edwards
I
is
was
that
saying.
dude.
Did I say Denver?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I meant Minnesota.
Oh,
Minnesota was
okay,
flying
okay.
high off that win, off that series, and Denver, they beat the Lakers. They knew they were going to beat the
Yeah,
Lakers.
yeah.
And they just came out a little flat, it seemed, and um, Minnesota took advantage. But that's what you have to do. Every game is its own thing. And so you got to come out and you got to win the game when you can win it. And if Denver's going to come out flat, Minnesota has to take advantage of that if you want to be a championship caliber team. Kind of
Can,
goes back to what I was saying about Boston, right? When the game is there to be taken, you have to take it.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that Jokic's back is up against the curb?
Hell no. Nah. His whole fucking heel ain't up against the curb.
Right, right, right.
Giant,
Oh,
giant man.
oh man.
Yeah, I told you this earlier. I'm at my wit's end with this Drake and Kendrick stuff, man. I don't have the energy for it anymore. I'm out. I've been out. I really wasn't in to begin with because fuck them. That's why. But really, but
He said, "I'm
really,
done."
you broke my back with that story today. I was sitting here, literally standing right here, just like, oh my God, another Kendrick. I can't. This was it. That was the last one.
He's like, "I'm done. I can't do
I
anymore."
don't got no more.
They
I
got
got no
no
more,
more.
man.
All right,
I
guys.
got
So
no more.
on that note, we'll go ahead and we'll hop over to our next topic. The next topic we're going to talk about is Canelo Alvarez pulls out a victory, which most of the world expected him to get last night. We don't want to necessarily talk about the fight. I mean, we can talk about it. It went the distance. Canelo won by decision, unanimous decision. He knocked down his opponent in the fourth round. He outlanded his opponent by like 61 punches. He outlanded him by like 55 power punches. I think he landed at like a 45.9% or something, maybe 43%. But Canelo landed at a high rate, and his opponent landed at a like 25% rate. The topic isn't necessarily about the fight. It's why do you think that people didn't tune into the Canelo fight? Because as my guy mentioned, he was at the bar last night and they didn't have the Canelo fight on anything. Nobody was talking about Canelo on any of the socials last night. So why do you think that we are where we're at right now with Canelo?
I'm bored, man. I was bored listening to you fucking set that whole shit up. Like the fuck? This fight. What happened? Who did he fight? Mung Butt? What?
But he was
Mung
43 and
Bak?
0. He was 43 and 0. Manunga,
Me
I don't know how to
too.
pronounce his name.
Me too. I ain't never lost a fight
Mungia.
either. No, seriously. In all seriousness, I just Canelo doesn't move the needle anymore. He doesn't. He doesn't get into those big wild brawls. He hasn't fought anybody that we've really wanted to see him fight. He's just not moving the needle. And I don't know that boxing in and of itself really moves the needle a whole lot anymore. We were talking about this with the Mike Tyson, Logan, or Jake Paul thing, right? It's the entertainment aspect of it. We want to see people fight that we want to see fight, right? And so you have to make us want to see you fight. Like people want to see Mike Tyson knock Paul's head off. People want to see that. Um, and if that doesn't happen, people would also not want to miss Mike Tyson losing to Jake Paul. Like, who wants to not see that shit, right? People don't care what's happening with Canelo because
So
he's not fighting anybody that we care about.
so let me play devil's advocate here for a minute. I don't think I think well, so we got to be real. We can't just speak our opinions and or speak, lies. So I don't know how to put this, but Canelo still did numbers. Obviously, he has a huge Mexican
Yeah,
fan base, so everywhere else they watched it. But you're not really going to be at like the Hood Bar or anything like that right now, and everybody trying to watch Canelo fight. I will say this: we want the Benavidez fight, and I think he's going to give us the Benavidez fight because he said last night if they get the money right, then he will do the Benavidez fight, right? And Benavidez already said, I'll go 90-10. If that's what I got to do to get into the ring with you, I'll go 90-10. You can have 90, I'll take 10. So they're going to be able to get the money
yeah.
figured out. You know what I'm saying? Because
That
it'll
fight has
probably,
to happen.
yeah, it'll probably be 30-70 or something, which is still more money than Benavidez will ever make because, he's still, Canelo is still a draw. Now, I
Yeah.
don't think that it's fair. I am hit or miss with Canelo because yes, we want the Benavidez fight. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's the fight everybody wants. But everybody always says that Canelo don't fight nobody. But when you're looking at Canelo's last 10 fights, so Mingua, the dude he just fight was 43-0, So,
It's not that he don't fight people. It's that we don't know who he is. Like nobody
well,
cares.
right,
Is
that
the
last
problem.
fight, you're right. You're right. That last fight, we didn't know who he was. But the fight before that, he fight Jamel Charlo. We all knew who
He
Jamel
did.
Charlo
Yeah, we
was.
did. Yeah.
We
And
wanted
still
that fight.
nobody really
We
even
no, we wanted that fight. That fight was a
we
big fight.
did.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did.
We
That
wanted
was a
that
big
fight.
fight.
And
That was a
then
big fight.
and then in that fight, he beat Charlo so bad. It didn't even look like he was trying. And then
Yeah.
he fought John Ryder. We didn't care about that fight. Nobody cared about
No.
that fight. But before that, so that's his last three fights. So he fought Charlo and a dude who's 43
Yeah.
0, right? Then he fought Triple G for the third time. We wanted that fight. He fought Dimitri Bivol. We wanted that fight. Bivol beat him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is that where he went up?
Bivol, yeah, he went up and Bivol
Yeah, he went up
knocked
to
him. Yeah.
fight Bill.
We
Yeah.
he Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders. We wanted those fights. We wanted those fights like we
Did
wanted.
we? I don't
Yes,
think people really wanted the Caleb fight because people were talking shit during the Caleb Plant fight.
I
Like, who the
think
fuck is this dude? I think for like serious boxing heads, which I'm not, maybe serious boxing heads really wanted it. But again, we're talking about moving the whole needle, not just a portion of it.
but that was off. That was off of the Billy Joe Saunders fight, and we wanted the Billy Joe Saunders fight because there was a huge section of people who thought that Saunders was going to win that fight. I wasn't in that group, but there was a huge group of people who thought that Saunders was going to win that fight. So it's not like he doesn't
I
fight
don't think that
anybody.
that one's for casuals either, though, to be honest with you. I don't think
Really?
that one's for casuals. Yeah, no,
People don't know who Billy Joe Saunders is?
no.
Really?
They don't, man. It's like, and that's the thing. The casuals, as far as boxing is concerned, that number of people is dwindling, and so is the number of boxing heads, right? And so what we have to have are fights that really are making people talk, right?
Right.
And you did name some fights that made people talk, but even the Jermell Charlo fight, like that one's like your casual is aware of him, but it's not like, oh, let's do a super fight with Bud Crawford, right? Which I'm not saying that that's what he has to do, that level of fight, but I just think that's where boxing is. And we touched on this the last time that we talked when we
I
did
don't.
the Tyson Paul thing. What's the state of boxing in?
I think at the point when Alvarez and Crawford, or when Alvarez and Charlo fought, I feel like Charlo was probably a bigger household name than Crawford. He would sell more on pay-per-view. And this is coming from a Crawford fan. Obviously I'm from Omaha, no Bud and shit like
Yeah.
that. I'm a huge Bud fan. I order all his fights. But I think at that point, Charlo was more of a household name than Bud. Charlo was fighting on Fox. If you remember correctly, the Charlo brothers were fighting on
Yeah,
Fox. He was
no,
fighting
I mean
everywhere.
Charlo. But I think so. I don't think that Bud Crawford was a household name for
until
a
he beat
long
Errol.
time.
Well, yeah. Until he beat
Mhm.
Errol Spence, and then he blew
Exactly.
up.
Now that's a super fight, but it was not even a fight that people were even talking about, Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, because people didn't care. I'm not a boxing head. I know Crawford because I live here in Omaha, right?
Right.
And so obviously we follow Bud here. Um, I know Jermel Charlo because I do follow enough boxing. And between you and Pace, man, y'all not gonna let me not know who some dudes are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so
I'm
like,
all about
but
some boxing.
yeah, and so like I think on the as far as a casual goes, I feel like I know about as much as your average casual is gonna know, right? And there are just some names that just don't move the needle for me that I wouldn't go out of my way to watch a fight, you know. And I fear that's where boxing is just in general.
I feel like, but to touch on what we spoke on last week about the influencers fighting, I think that
Hmm.
that's going to help bring back more. Um, it's going to bring back more eyes on the sport because I think that it would be easier as an influencer. If I was an influencer, I would rather do a 10-round boxing match than a 4 or 5 round UFC fight. I'm not getting in the octagon with another fucking influencer because what happens if this nigga can really fight? This nigga ain't choking me out on fucking TV. At least you can only knock me out in a boxing match. In UFC, there's a whole bunch of options. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
What if
know.
this motherfucker come?
I'd
What if this
rather tap out,
what if this
bro, than
motherfucker
get
comes at me
knocked
like a
out.
spider monkey? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And fucking breaks my arm in his fight or some shit. You know?
You get to
Uh,
tap out of that break, bro. I'm not getting knocked out on pay-per-view. That shit is not happening.
I think
The
there's less of a
memes.
chance.
Can you imagine the memes?
I think that there's less of a chance of getting knocked out than tapping out. I think you're more
I
likely
can
to.
I can backpack you for 3 minutes, bro. We could just grapple and I can hide my chin. And then if you get me in a choke or whatever, I can tap out and it's a wrap. You can like literally give your back, right? And be like, you got me, you got my neck, you got me.
Yeah, but
In a boxing, there's no escaping boxing, bro.
yeah, but in a
There's
but
no
in like
escaping.
in a in a in like one of these fights for like influencers and stuff, all you gotta do is keep your you know what I'm saying, keep your guard up. You know what I'm saying? Because all these people can't
You
fight. They're
know
all throwing
how
rights. They all
that's
throwing right hooks. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your
that shit's
glove up. You know what
great
I'm saying?
for 3 rounds. And then your arm's like, fuck, man, I can't hold my arm up no more. Ping. Then it's a wrap, bro. You know how this works. It's all good till it ain't, bro. It's all good till it ain't. Don't remember what it's like to get into an actual fight. It's all good. In our memory, we think about the fight for like 3 seconds. Like, man, I could go. Man, you remember how 30-second fight was a long fight when
Yeah,
you first
yeah,
started
yeah,
going.
yeah.
And you talking about getting in a ring?
Especially if you get in like when you're fighting with somebody and you get to tussling around, because like
Mhm.
boxing, it's. I mean, I
You
always
get the lactic acid buildup in your muscles.
yeah, and then you're all fucking, you're all it feels like it's 5 minutes, but y'all niggas have just been tussling around on the ground for fucking 15 seconds and shit.
Mhm.
Um,
Even boxing though, just holding your arms up like this and snap off a couple of jabs, you block a few things, you go sit down, you come back, you do it again for 2 minutes, you go sit down, you come back. That's third 2 minutes, you like
well,
shaking those arms out.
shout out to Daniel Cormier. He said he even come out and he said that boxing is a more dangerous sport than UFC is,
It
which I wouldn't
is.
argue that because I mean because
It
UFC
is.
fans, I'm a UFC fan and I'm a boxing fan, so like I'm a combat sports fan. I'm more of a boxing fan than I'm a UFC fan. I'm gonna be honest, Perm will tell you my family is like fucking we watching every fight. But I think that UFC fighters are always like, well, you can get choked to death or you can break. How often do arms get broke? Not that often in the UFC fights, and they're not going to let you choke a nigga to death because the referee's going to stop the fight. So
It's a
you're not going to get choked to death. But in boxing, you are getting punched in the face for 12 straight rounds. The rounds are longer. You know what I'm saying? So, or not
the
longer, but
most
there's more
dangerous
time.
part of it
There's third,
is the
there's
concussive, the
right,
repeated concussive nature.
and it's 30.
Because
It's
with
30.
boxing, you're just snapping those off. You can take more because the gloves are bigger, right? So I think to your point, like, and to Daniel Cormier's point, the long-term damage in boxing and even short-term damage in boxing to your
Right.
brain is the most dangerous thing
Right.
in that
And
combat
and
sport.
then you would have to think too, is that A boxing match is 32 minutes. A UFC fight, the longest UFC fight is going to be 25 minutes, you know?
And there
So
are a
you
lot of other places to get hit in
right.
UFC.
You're
You
right there. You're right
body,
there.
kicks, and there's the whole grappling aspect of it. And so your brain's not, it's under attack, but it's not the consistent
Right.
barrage of attack that it is under in boxing. No, that's 100% right.
So yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that Canelo should take the Benavidez fight, or do
Yeah.
you think that he should look into fighting Crawford? Because he
You
said
take the
he might take
Benavidez
either one of
fight.
the fights. If
I
I'm,
think you can take the Crawford fight and you can lose that and still get the Benavidez fight. I don't know if you get the Crawford fight if you lose to Benavidez. You got to go back and fight Benavidez again.
is this a safe? Is this a safe space?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can say what I'm really thinking. I might get canceled by the whole entire city of Omaha. I don't want to see Terrence Crawford fight Canelo Alvarez unless it's his last fight. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's good.
that's not a that man is already he's too big. You know, he's just too big. You know, you're gonna have to move up 3 weight classes to fight this nigga.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it because I don't want to see Terrence Crawford take a loss to Canelo Alvarez when he shouldn't have been had no business fighting him in the first place.
Yeah.
But if he wins the fight, oh, that nigga goes down as one of the greatest welterweights of all time, you know? Because even though
So
we'll
how
have to
much
move
does
up there,
Canelo weigh?
well, Canelo's what a super middleweight? Yeah, he's a super middleweight. So if Crawford goes from granted, I guess the next fight's gonna be at what middleweight or what's he fighting at next? Is it light
I
middleweight?
just know they have a lot of weight classes in boxing, and so I
Right.
wonder what the actual weight difference is. And
Well,
just to
Crawford
say to go up three sounds like a huge jump, but if the difference between one class to the next is 5 pounds,
it's
it's
probably
not
about
that big.
it's probably about 30 pounds.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
third in total.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big jump.
that's yeah. So it's probably about 25, 30 pounds. I don't have
I wonder
uh
what Crawford's walking around weight is.
probably like 168, but Canelo's probably walking around at 100 and fucking 90. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for every 20 pound or for every pound that Crawford is over 141 or whatever, 147. Yeah, because I
But
think
if
he's
you can
going.
fight at a natural weight and have him come down, like I'm saying, like if he's closer, if his walking around weight is closer to what they would be fighting at, I don't think it's a terribly big deal. He can fuck around and take a whole year to gain that weight, like John Jones did,
Yeah,
right?
but
Just gain it naturally.
but part of what Crawford's best skill set is his speed. And so when you gain 20
He'd still
pounds,
be faster.
but when you gain 20 pounds in a year, um, you're going to lose some of that speed because you're not gradually getting to
Sure,
that 20 pounds. So if you were
sure.
gradually getting up there, you're still going to lose speed, but you're going to lose it faster if you just put
Oh,
on
in a
weight real
year?
quick and then move up. Yeah, I would think
In a
so.
year?
Well,
That's a gradual. That's 20 pounds in a year is a
I don't
gradual.
think that's not for boxing. If
Yeah,
20 if 20 pounds of in a year was gradual in boxing, then smaller boxers would more often have
they
moved up
can't
20
go a
pounds
year
in a year.
without they can't go with a year without boxing. And plus, a lot of trainers don't like guys. They want them to cut the weight. They
Right.
want them at a certain class. They don't want them jumping around a whole bunch. So they lock them in. I've seen I can't remember who Rogan had on, but he was talking to somebody about boxing and the cutting weight and all that kind of stuff. And I think it was Teddy Atlas, and they were talking about how trainers just once they get a guy at a weight, they don't like to move him.
Right.
Um, but I mean,
But I guess
to your point, I don't think it'll happen for the same reasons that you're listing there. Just the
right.
weight. That's 30 is a long way to go.
It's a long way to go. And I just wanted to add this last little piece to that was that what I was trying to get at is more people would try to move up though because there's more money to be made the bigger you are, you know? So
Mhm.
like the bigger you are in boxing, obviously heavyweights are always going to have the biggest fights. It's just the way that it is. If you're a light heavyweight and you're really good, you're going to have bigger fights because we want to see the biggest, the strongest. What I know you don't watch wrestling, but I be watching wrestling and Big E be like, we want to see big beefy men slapping meat. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But he was
Wow.
talking about him wrestling Goldberg. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like everybody wants
Yeah.
to see big beefy men slapping meat. That's what everybody want to see with like fighting and stuff. That's why
Yeah.
like heavyweight fights are always going to be the most popular, even though there's other popular fighters or whatever. if
Yeah.
John Jones, I don't even want to say he's an exception to the rule because I don't even feel like his fights were the biggest grossing UFC fights because he has a lot of people that hate on
No.
him. He's not the
And
biggest,
he
the
doesn't
biggest.
do a lot of promotion. You
Yeah,
know, the biggest grossing ones were McGregor fights.
McGregor.
But well, hey, I got a hard stop here in a few.
Yeah, yeah,
We
we're
got
we're
one
at a good
more.
point. We're at a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got.
we're at a good place.
You don't want to talk Team USA?
I mean, we can. We got 10 minutes. We can talk about Team USA for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
Um, all right, so yeah, we're good. I think we still have like 10 minutes on this thing too, so we're good. All
cool.
right. So we got one more topic for you guys today. It looks like Team USA has announced their final roster, with I believe Kawhi Leonard being the last addition to the team. So I'm going to go ahead and mention these starters real quick. We got Bam Adebayo. Or I guess I can't say starters, but these are the 12 players. So we got Bam Adebayo, we got Devin Booker, we got Steph Curry, we got Anthony Davis, we've got Kevin Durant, we've got Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Therese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Jason Tatum. Hey, I lied. We got to come out and come back in. Oh, no, I guess we got 10 minutes. Damn it.
We'll just do a quick one. We'll just do a quick two, and we'll wrap this thing up.
All right. So I got to do that again real quick. So,
All right.
all right. Just so it can flow into the next shit.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we got one more topic for you guys today. We want to talk about Team USA. It looks like they have decided to add Kawhi as the last member of the team. So it looks like our roster is looking like Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Therese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum. So the question that I have for you is after the USA team obliviates everybody in the playoffs, is anybody going to say anything else ever about the best team in the world when we say world champions in NBA?
Yeah, it's not going to go away. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's going to be another crop of youngsters, and every 4 years we're going to do this, right? Luka's
Every
only
four
going to get
years.
better.
Every four
Yeah.
years we're going to do this.
Yep, and we still got to deal with the Luka monster. You got to deal with Jokic and Giannis. There's but this roster is
Yeah.
crazy stacked.
It's
Obviously, they're gonna just blow through. What I'm really excited about is the world getting a chance to see Anthony Edwards.
right.
I can't wait. Like playing with like LeBron and KD.
I can't wait, dog. I can't wait.
They're gonna be serving him up some gems, dude. He's gonna be jumping through the fucking roof. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a good time.
I swear to God,
Where
though.
is the Olympics this year?
The Olympics this year is I don't have any idea where the Olympics are this year. Um, is it in France this year? It's not in Paris, is it?
It might be.
We're gonna find out today.
Let's see.
It looks
It
like
is in Paris. It is in
ooh,
Paris. Damn,
ooh.
man.
Hey, I got skills,
Maybe
dog. I got skills, dog.
you
How I
know it would
go?
be crazy good. Oh man, I wish I could have got my passport in time.
You
I'll
go
just
there?
go. I would just
Yo,
go. Hell
on
yeah. I haven't
another
been to
note,
Paris in a
though,
while, man.
shout out to France, man. I know this isn't NBA basketball, but there was a WWE pay-per-view last night at in France. Nigga, the crowd was so lit. When I tell
Yeah.
you, I have never seen in Puerto Rico, they like this too. But it was like, bro, Randy Orton comes out and the crowd sings his whole song, dog. Like instead
Right.
of cheering, they sang his whole song loud as fuck. And they're in France,
Right.
and that song is English. Or like when Naomi came out, The Glow, they turned off the lights and everybody, popped their phone up and the whole crowd was going crazy, singing and dancing and shit. And like, I mean, this was like the most lit crowd I've ever
That's
seen in
dope.
my life, dog, ever.
That's
It was
dope.
pretty dope. Well, that Puerto Rico crowd was lit too. So I hope that I guess I mentioned that because I hope that the French people bring that same energy to the Olympics, especially considering everything that's going on in France right now.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, how are we
Sure.
having the Olympics? That's a conversation that we really need to have is how are we having the Olympics in France and they're having a civil war right now?
Dude, we had the Olympics, but was it during World War II? Like at the very beginning of World War II was the Olympics in Berlin in front of Hitler. Remember the Jesse Owens thing? Like,
Yeah,
motherfuckers is going to Olympic. They don't give a shit. They're like, I
right,
don't give a
right.
fuck what's going on. Genocide? Shit. Olympics 2024.
They shooting up the
Anyway,
Capitol building. We don't care. Send
we
the
don't care.
athletes. Send the
Yep.
athletes.
Just
Release
don't
the
get confused, runners.
hounds.
This is the starter pistol. That is an AK-47.
So who do you think is going to be the starting lineup on this roster?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters, man. It might be a ceremonial thing, but I don't think it matters.
I need Steph. I need I need Ant because you know what I'm saying. Like I know he ain't starting, but I need Ant, probably KD, LeBron, and Joel.
Yeah. No, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis will probably be your four.
How you start Anthony Davis and LeBron though, and these niggas can't even get out of the first round of the playoffs. We can't depend on them two niggas to lead us to the promised land.
True that. True
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
True that.
Yo, you can't have these dudes who can't even get out of the first round against Jokic and Jamal Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Kendrick is killing a Canadian right now. LeBron is having all the problems with the
God.
Canadians. You know what I'm saying?
All right. On that note, that was it. We're done.
We're done,
We're
Crody.
done.
We're done, Crody.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we're done, man. We're done. We're done. All right, man. Well, so that's what we got for y'all. This episode of Something on Sports featuring Perm. Let us know down in the comments what y'all want to see from us, what we can do better for you guys. Because obviously we want to keep doing the podcast and we want to make the best environment and the best watching scenario for you guys. We want to make you guys enjoy it too. So let us know down below some of the things that you guys want to hear us talk about in the future. Let us know what we could do a better job of. Let us know that we're doing good on. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Because we need that. Make sure you share it with your people. All that good jazz, because we definitely appreciate that. I'll let Perm say a little something, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. Take care.
And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.